What is the greatest New Year's resolution? What is it? Do you know what it is? Because we're going to talk about it.
I can't wait to hear this.
I mean, once you listen to this podcast, you're going to know what it is.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Called to Love podcast, a show dedicated to exploring how human relationships and intimacy with God are connected. Join us as we discuss hard-hitting topics that inspire and motivate you to go deeper into the intricacies of building meaningful relationships. Here now are your hosts, James Levisee and Brian Knoedl.
Well, Bubba Love, I wonder how everybody's doing with their new commitments. They've had a little time, a few weeks.
The R word, resolution.
Resolutions.
Uh-oh.
You know, I'm liking saying to people when they ask me, what's your New Year's resolution? I'm saying, this year, I'm going to eat more. For the simple fact that they don't know what to say to that.
Because it's the very thing they're not wanting to do.
It's such a low expectation. And then sometimes I'll elaborate and say, last year I did okay with it, but this year I'm going to do better. I'm going to eat lots more than I did last year. See what I can do. See how it lasts.
For the holidays, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotion, a lot of families that haven't seen each other for the whole year. And then you go to the gym and you're trying to, all these resolutions, I'm gonna stay more engaged, I'm gonna do better at work, I'm gonna stay more focused, I'm going to finish the book that I started last year, I'm going to change and have healthy habits. And change always involves, for the most part, what we think on the outside. We can change our hair color, we can change our wardrobe, we can change the vehicle we drive, we can think about changing our demographics, but really committing to change is a whole nother mindset, a whole nother reality that it really involves inside out change. And you and I've talked about this for years. The biggest thing that we're looking for that we see is the relationship with the Father and believing what He says about us and looking at the journey of transformation as a process and not something you try and quit. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking. It's a day by day, week by week. It's one thing to have expectations that you have on other people that are not met. When you keep up and have record of the expectations you've had on yourself over the years and it's been unmet, you've disappointed yourself. So you have to start fresh and say, I'm not going to keep any record of wrong on myself, but I'm going to have to believe and have faith in whatever my belief system is. It's, of course, you and I both know it's bigger than a belief system. It's a relational journey with the Father where we have to believe what He says about us or we'll never walk in it. And so, I've been seeing resolutions. The gym I go to is absolutely slammed. It was wonderful the end of the year, and now it's a nightmare. But
just wait for a few days.
Just wait. Well, I would say probably mid-March is when it really starts to slow down. But for those that make this a part of their viewing, we just want to encourage those that follow us that find someone, make a commitment this year to find someone to journey with and let that person play a role and pointing you to who you are as it relates to how the Father sees you, and encourages you and inspires you and challenges you to walk that out. I think that's a great opportunity to do something, because it's one thing for you to try to tell yourself, hey, you know, I'm a great person, or I'm trying to make. It's another thing to have someone that you have partnered with that says, hey, I just want to let you know I love you. I just want to let you know God's got a plan and a purpose for your life. I just want you to know I'm praying for you. I know you're going through a tough time. I just want you to know I'm here for you. Those are huge things that are markers in our life, because when you look back on that moment and you realize, man, that guy was there for me. That family was there for me. And then you go, Father, you were there for me too.
Yeah.
And it's his relationship with you. It's that family's relationship with you that inspired them to act and show love and reach out to me. So since our whole lives are about people, whether we work with them, whether we are married to them, whether we father them, whether we attend church with them, whether we do holidays with them, it's all about people and relationships. And we are finding that there's never a never loss of an opportunity to change the way we see people. I think that's a big deal. This year is a great opportunity to do that. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of people that have relationship goals. Like there's probably people out there that want to have a better marriage. You know, they're probably thinking of ways they can improve their relationship with their kids. Some do, some don't. It may not be on top of people's radars, but I'll talk about the people that do want to improve relationships. What does that look like? Like, how are you going to do that? Like, if it really gets down to how you're going to improve your relationship with your spouse or your kids, or maybe it's friends, what does that look like? What's probably the main ingredient in that deal? And right now, if you're listening to this, you've got some ideas in your head. And it may be different than what I think or you think. I'm thinking it's going to be time. You know, if somebody said, what's the number one thing you could do to improve a relationship? I'd say time. I'd give them time. The most valuable thing we can't get back. Once we use it, there's no way to get it back. We can't earn more. We can't be given more. It's done, you know. So what does that look like, you know? And especially with as busy as people are, like, it costs more to make $1, you know, at least the same value of $1 that it was, you know, just 3 or 4 years ago. So a lot of people are having to get second jobs to make that up. So how do you balance that? How do you put really emphasis on what's important? And you know, some of us are going to take the idea that it's not a human I want a better relationship with. It's the Father God. It's Jesus Christ. It's the Holy Spirit. And how are you going to do that? Time may be one. I'd be interested in hearing what people are saying. What's the 3 top things that someone would say would be, these are critical. If you do 1, 2, and 3, it'll improve a relationship. And hear people's different answers. What's your number 1? You know, that you'd say, because on these reality shows, there's a whole bunch of reality shows out there. It's all about getting the girl or getting the guy. You know, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. They'll have, you know, 30 people fighting over one person. They'll have these shows to where, you know, you'll go and you'll try to find love. And the whole point of those shows is just talking and spending time together. They don't really get technical about a lot of stuff. They don't get in deep into, their knowledge of information. They're just wanting to see how we connect, chemistry-wise. So that has a lot to do with what we're going to do with our spouses, what we're going to do with our kids. I find it interesting that, me and my wife were sitting down flipping through the channels. We were in bed and we were going through channels. And there was this religious, two guys talking, right? And I just stopped because I wanted to hear what they had to say, right? And they've got this book on there, and it's a little ticker going across, donate $25 today and we'll send you this book out immediately. And I'm just sitting there thinking, why does everything got to be about something like that? We spend very little time talking about the time we spend with the Father, the way it looks to build that relationship. But if you get 2 seconds for someone flipping through a TV, you got to get this knowledge. If you'll send me $25, we'll give you the book free. We just want you to have it, to get more knowledge. But when you're dating, it's not like that at all. It's like, how can I get more time? How can we go on a second date? I was talking to a woman the other day, and she said she just had her first date with someone. And I said, you think you'll go on a second one? She goes, I think so. I hope so. So the whole goal of that date was, can we get to a second one? Is that the way it is spiritually?
I think so. What we often find, just like unmet resolutions or constant failure, I've tried that. I've tried friendships, or I've tried relationships, or I've tried dating, or I've tried marriage, or I've tried all of these things that are tied to relationships. And then there's the fear factor. Just about everything that you had mentioned in regards to reality shows right now, it's almost like I'm going to escape my drama in my life and the dysfunction in my relationships to look at it entertainingly at somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to experience chaos in my life, but I want to watch it in somebody else's.
Sure. It's a lot more fun.
It's a whole lot more fun. And then you get to sit back and laugh, or you get caught up in the emotion of choosing sides and forming perspectives. The Lord has said all throughout His Word that He sees us as children, and He loves kids. He loves children. He loves childlike faith. And the biggest thing that you see mentioned throughout the Bible is trusting. And that's a huge factor in relationships. And most people not only have a problem trusting others, they have a difficult time trusting themselves. And if they have some level of trust in themselves, it's only because they feel like they can control the circumstance and situations that they're in. And if you're someone that walks in that confidence, it's very difficult to rely and trust on anyone else. And trusting the Lord is even more difficult, because if it's a belief system, you're trusting someone you don't know. You're trying to trust a belief system. And that is why we have seen such chaos and such dysfunction and a revolving door in people's lives when it comes to religious activities or church or commitments or being a part of something that involves relationships, whether it's small groups or whether it's one-on-one. It inevitably it inevitably becomes complicated. And so I would just rather someone set out parameters for me to follow, guidelines for me to adhere to, and just tell me what I need to do, because everything else is too complicated. And I really believe this year a lot of people are going to find that if they're willing to just focus on one relationship more than any other, and carve and dedicate time and space for that relationship to cultivate, and that is in your closet, that is with your doors shut, creating a place, whether it's a bedroom or a closet or under a staircase, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a huge opportunity to find yourself. It's a huge opportunity to position yourself to find out what God is saying about you. I thought about this question. I've been pondering it. I heard a pastor share it not too long ago in one of his sermons. He said, if God spoke to you and asked you a question, what do you think about me? And what do you think I'm saying, what I want to say to you? What would that be? What are we? Do we believe there's a God that would be willing to say something to us, has something to say to us? Or have we formed a perspective of Him that we have failed and don't measure up, so there's no use, no need to try to get to know someone you're just going to disappoint? I'm hearing this a lot in my conversations. Religion is so complicated. The relational component only complicates it even more. But you and I, on this journey that we've been on, we know without a doubt that if you commit time to know Him, He will reveal Himself to you, and He will place people in your life to go on a journey with, and you will suddenly begin to see your purpose, your destiny, and we love it. But that's our heartbeat for this year starting off. I know we're already a month into the new year, so regardless of whether you've been able to keep your resolutions you already have, don't give up. Just start with one relationship.
Yeah, that's a good way to start the years. Let's focus on relationships. A lot of times, I think people are scared to enter into a relationship, or you ask somebody to go somewhere and they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be accepted if I go there. I don't know. Am I going to know anybody there? I don't know if I'm going to relate to the people there. I'm kind of like in my own little world. And a lot of times you get them into that situation, they'll be so glad they went because they're encouraged. People encourage one another. But there's something about, the fear of building relationships that
we're going to talk more about that.
We are. We're going to get into it.
Great time today.
Yeah.
We hope this episode of the Called to Love podcast has enriched your life and offered valuable principles to apply on your personal journey. Please explore our website at www.calledto.love for more information and to share your feedback with us. Until our next episode, may you find peace and love. And always remember, you are called to love.